Hello, sweet friends, and welcome to my channel, Crafting with me, Indiana Jones. Today I have some more fall and Halloween fun just for you. I'm participating in a playlist that is called Fall-oween, so anything fall and Halloween decor is a part of this playlist, which is hosted by my friends Martina of the Secret Craft Room and Dawn of Shabby Meets Bling. So let's see what I came up with for today. Let's Resin reached out to me and asked me to try out their products. I have used resin in the past, but I've never used that crystal clear resin, and I've always been curious to try it out. Well, here is what they sent me. They sent me the resin, which is parts A and parts B, and of course, a big list of instructions. Whenever you're working with resin, please make sure to make safety first. Wear goggles, wear gloves, and respirator if you need to, or please work in a well-ventilated area and follow instructions for each and every resin product as it's prescribed. Now, they also sent me 2 molds, this spooky ooky skull mold, and look at this, a beautiful pumpkin mold, and it's like a pumpkin box. I can't believe it. Can't wait to show you how this turned out. Anyway, let's take a look at how we put the resin together. Oh, and I also almost forgot, they sent me 16 dyes so I can color my resin, and so many beautiful and different colors. And here I was trying to see if I can find one that was perfect for the pumpkin, and sure enough, they had orange. Now I'm going to take parts A and parts B, measure them separately, but they are a 1-to-1 ratio resin. So 1 cup of part A and 1 cup of part B. Now they said to mix in separate containers. I guess they didn't want like a huge mix. They don't want a huge amount of resin mixed together all at once. So I had to be careful and make sure I measured out the drops of the dye exactly for both pours. Now here I am mixing the 2 resins. Now this is a slow cure resin. It takes at least 24 hours to cure, and I would say, a day and a half to be perfectly cured, but within 24 hours it was cured. Now, as you can see, I am using a bottle, and this is going to be, the bottles that you use for decorating. That's what I decided to use for my resin mixture, simply because I wanted to use some smaller molds, and using the tip, the bakery tip or whatever you want to call it, it would make it easier for me to pour the resin into smaller products, into smaller molds. So here I am, I'm adding the tip there, and now I can go into this other mold that I had. I'm sure this is for chocolates or candies, but I had this mold and I wanted to try it out with this crystal resin, and look at how perfectly it pours out. I have no overage, no spillage. So if you have to pour into smaller resin molds like this, please use a bottle like I did. Look at how cool these came out. I absolutely love them, and I think they'll make perfect jewelry items. And now look at the pumpkin. That is crystal clear. It looks like amber glass to me, and not a single bubble. I forgot to mention, before you pour the resin and mix them together, it's advised that you warm it up in a just in a bath of warm water. You can put warm water into a bowl and put both of the resin bottles in there just to warm it up, and that helps to eliminate any bubbles. But I had no bubbles whatsoever. Look at that. It's so beautiful. And once you add a candle, it just looks like amber glass. So if you're interested in using Let's Resin, I will have more information in the description down below. And I thank them again for offering me to use this product. I'm very happy, and will use it again. Next, I found this frame on the side of the road. My favorite place to shop is on the side of the road. So I picked it up, cleaned it up, painted it, And now I am sanding it down just a little bit, just to show a little bit of the natural wood. It was in bad shape when I got this frame, so I decided to just go ahead and paint it before I showed it to you. But it was basically a very basic brown frame. But I found a piece of artwork that I want to include in this that I actually bought off of Temu. Now, for the backing, of course, I had to replace it all together, and here I'm just using some foam core or cardboard. I can't remember what this is, but it's a little thicker than cardboard or poster board. So all I'm using here is, of course, my Mod Podge. You know, can't miss without Mod Podge. And just pouring it all over the place, because I'm going to use my little iron. As you can see, it dried a little bit, but now I'm going to place this canvas. Look at how cute. I found this on Temu. It was around $2. Fell in love with it. I said, gotta have a little ghosty ghost. And look at all the beautiful orange tones and colors. It's very reminiscent of the 70s, and I kind of like that. It's kind of like a groovy ghost. It's a groovy ghost. I love the painting, and it's also very kind of primitive, so I felt like it would match with my primitive style. I don't know, but I love these autumnal colors, and it's just such a cute painting, and I thought it would fit perfectly in that discarded frame. And there you have it, just another piece of decor, fast and easy. And if you don't have to buy things off of Temu. I'm trying not to promote everybody purchasing stuff because I know things are tight, but you can print something out and just find in a thrift store, even in your own home, just replace some of your paintings and some of your pictures with some fun photos or pictures like this that you can find on the internet. This year have been very good at not purchasing too much at the Dollar Tree, but when I saw this pumpkin set, I knew I had to get it for $1.25. I thought it was well worth it, and I love the fact that they stack and they also store very conveniently. But I didn't like the fact that they were all white, so here I am. I decided to color them with a bit of a primitive coloring scheme. I don't know if it's primitive or not. Now here's a quick tip: if you don't want your orange to be so bright, instead of adding brown, add a little bit of very dark navy blue, and it gives you this very rich tone of orange. So I decided I was going to do orange, green, and white, since those are typical colors that you see out there. I have to say, I really haven't purchased a lot this year that's new for Halloween. I'm trying to make everything from what I already have in my stash, and if I've bought stuff, it is at the thrift store, and you'll see a couple of items that I styled at the end of the reveal. Now here I'm just adding the paint, and all I did was use matte acrylic paint from Folk Art from Plaid, and that covered pretty well after the second. And here we have our quality control cat. She's so dark you can't even see her eyes. So cute. Now I'm going to color. The second one is going to be like a mossy green. I love this green color. Same thing, Folk Art matte paint. It almost works like a chalk paint. The smallest one, I just covered it with a bit of a beigey white, so it wouldn't be so plastic white. Now I'm just adding some, what are they called? Like, I'm just, what is that called? Splattering. I'm splattering. I forgot what splatter called. Splattering onto, there's the white pumpkin, and I add a little bit of orange tones to it as well. But I'm just splattering on the pumpkin just to add a little bit more realism as best as I can with plastic pumpkins. And now here I'm helping with that the peduncle at the top, and then I decided to add some moss, and I have that wonderful moss vine, and that's perfect to add a little bit of moss in between each pumpkin. And I really love the way they all turned out. The colors are fabulous, and they look so nice with my primitive decor. Here's a fast and inexpensive way to decorate for Halloween. If you can find these window clings, usually at the Dollar Tree, they also sell them at Walmart. use them on all your glass jars. Glass jars, vases, anything at all that you have. They're fantastic because you don't have to use Mod Podge, you don't have to use anything at all. And look at how cool they look once you decorate with them. You can even use these for candles. If you have plain candles and plain vases or plain containers, just add these little Halloween decals and it'll look fabulous. Another fast and inexpensive way to update for Halloween is using printables. Look at this beautiful witch that I found. Now that oval frame that you saw, that one's from the Dollar Tree, but and then I remembered that I had this beautiful black frame and I thought she would look lovely in there. Not to say anything, but I feel like I looked a lot like her when I was much younger. But anyway, I'm giving myself a compliment, I know, but I just absolutely love that hat, by the way. I wish I could recreate it and might do so later, who knows, if I have time. Now I decided to embellish that frame just a little bit more, to add some flowers to match the beautiful flowers that she has on her witch's hat. And all I'm using here are some IOD transfers. They're so fast and easy to use, and again, you can use these. Look like they were spring transfers, but because of the lovely dark purple color of these flowers, they were absolutely perfect for this frame. Now, I also tried to customize these flowers and these colors to make them more autumnal. So the yellow, I used a little bit of an ochre yellow or a darker orange just to make it look more autumnal, and you can see that it works out just fine. So remember, you can paint over your transfers as long as you water down the paint a little bit so it doesn't cover all the lovely details of the transfer itself. Now I have to put the witch into the frame, and if you want this image, it's very easy to find. It's free on the Graphics Fairy. If you look up witches under the Graphics Fairy, you'll find this beautiful painting. I hope you try this out. I think she would make a lovely addition to any Halloween decor. Now, as I've mentioned before, I am going for a primitive look for Halloween and fall this year, and I thought it would be cool to add a few little flowers. Now, I've seen other creators use this technique in the past, and they've used everything from, mason jar covers, but this time I decided to use these little rings, I guess the shower rings that you need to use for your shower curtain rings. And I'm using some fabric that I did buy at the Dollar Tree. I did tea stain it so it's not that brilliant bright whites or oranges, so there's a little bit of tea staining, and all I'm doing is wrapping them around the ring just to create some kind of sunflowers. They're not necessarily sunflowers, but some very primitive floral decor. Now I'm just making one. You can see the example here of just one, but I will be making more for my display. I wanted to add these, and I don't know if I'll add these to maybe a wreath, I don't know, but I wanted to add a few to my decor. And what I love about the fact that I'm using a primitive decor for Halloween is that it's going to carry through very easily into fall and of course Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to keeping up my decor not only for Halloween but fall and Thanksgiving right into the start of the Christmas season. Once I've tied in all of my strips of fabric, and I'm sorry, I cut them at around 1 inch to 1/2 inch, and they were probably wide, and they were probably around 6 inches to 8 inches long for these. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to fill in the center of my little sunflower looking raggedy primitive flower, and all I'm using here is just a little cotton ball, a piece of cardboard, and an extra piece of fabric that's a contrasting color or a contrasting design or style. And this is some gingham, which is perfect for the primitive style. Now I'm just sealing it all together on that little piece of cardboard, and that will be the center of my flower. I think it's really cute when it has a contrasting either color or contrasting design. for the center of the flower. It looks really, really cute. You'll see in just a moment. Once I'm done with the little centerpiece, all I have to do is glue it into the center of the flower and we are done. Now I do take some time and just fluff out everything. Because it was tea stained, it actually added a little bit of texture to the fabric, but there you have it. You can add it to sticks or skewers or wire and create a wonderful display with these very primitive flowers. The at-home store had a 90% off sale off of their spring and summer products, and that's where I found this and a few other wreaths, which I couldn't pass up the deal. I think this wreath turned out to be around $1.99, from $19.99 to $1.99, and I knew that I was going to be able to use it. Now it has all these lovely white flowers which really don't match my fall and Halloween decor, so I'm just removing them. They weren't even glued in, they were just wired in, so I was able to just pull them out of the wreath, and it was absolutely perfect. I mean, just as it is, if I were to use it just plain and add some florals, it would have been fine, but I had this grapevine Christmas tree. Yes, Christmas tree. And I decided that this would be a fabulous primitive witch's hat for a centerpiece on my dining room table. Look at this. Isn't this wonderful? Now all I'm doing here is adding some of my fall florals, and I'm going for some very deep, rich tones and colors and some vines, whatever I can use to make it look very natural and very wild. I wanted that look. I had these wonderful leaves. Look at these leaves that were olive and kind of had some gold to them, and I thought they were perfect. Now I continue to add florals from my stash. None of this I had to buy for this project because luckily I am blessed with an abundance of riches in my stash. Here I'm adding some bittersweet, and those I bought last year, and some leaves, of course, that I just keep around the house. I always have some autumn leaves from other projects, and I just kept adding more and more florals, more colors that are in, fall and natural and primitive. I think this is just going to add to my beautiful primitive decor, and it has a bit of panache. I wish I could wear this hat, and I wouldn't be surprised if I try to wear this on my head. It's a little uncomfortable, but I also forgot to mention that the grapevine tree actually has lights in it as well, so I can light that up, and I could add flowers to what becomes the brim of our flowers, I should say lights, to the brim of the hat as well. But I think for right now I like it just like this, and I am absolutely stunned at how nice this came out. So again, you can use this with grapevine wreaths that are like in this style, or with the twigs, or just grapevine wreaths on their own. If you have this type of grapevine tree for Christmas, this is a great way to make double use of this decor item. Now let's take a final look. Thanks again to the hosts of this playlist, Martina of The Secret Craft Room and Dawn of Shabby Meets Bling. Please check out their channels and the full playlist link down below. And thanks to you for stopping by. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, stay safe, be kind. God bless each and every one of you. And remember to live the adventure. And I'll see you again very soon.